Joe Brady has agreed to join the Panthers and their new head coach, Matt Rhule, in Carolina, where at age 30, he'll become the league's youngest active offensive coordinator. So for years, the LSU offense was considered old, archaic, but insert Joe Brady this year, and the results speak for themselves. A turnaround overnight that saw the Tigers score nearly 50 points per game and have the quarterback position evolve from a complementary piece to the focal point of the offense. It's been really fun to watch them. And Dan, what are you hearing about how this move could impact Cam Newton with the Panthers?
So like we said, I think it was last week, the Panthers haven't made a final organizational decision on what to do about Cam Newton because they want to see him healthy before doing that. But they're obviously set up to engage in a total rebuild if that's what they want to do. Their best player on defense just retired. Cam Newton's contract is one they can get out of with very little financial pain if they want to do that. They have the 7th pick in the draft and could be in play for a quarterback at that position if that's what they want to do. The new coach, head coach, got a 6-year contract. Right. The new coordinator is going to be very highly paid, or else he probably wouldn't have left his highly paid job at LSU. So they're positioned to redo the whole thing from scratch if that's what they decide to do, and that obviously could mean moving on from Cam Newton.
As soon as they signed Matt Rhule to that very long contract, I thought this was a rebuild situation. The Keekly news on top of it, I think the smart thing to do is probably to present themselves as if they plan to go forward with Cam Newton in order to try to drive up the price and try to get a quality trade for them, because they are now in rebuild mode. I like the idea of giving Matt Rhule a long-term contract and trying to rebuild the team rather than trying to cobble something together and make a run in the short term. The best thing they can do is tear it down and try to rebuild and win a championship in 3 or 4 years.
Can I tell you one embarrassing story? I was in the midst of lengthy airline delays yesterday in New Orleans trying to get back here, and I saw a very quick flash across the screen on my phone that said, Brady going to Carolina Panthers. And my first thought was not of Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was of someone who is actually 12 years older than he is. And that's Tom Brady, who did buy a house in Greenwich, Connecticut yesterday, and take from that what you will. But he's not going to Carolina, at least as far as we know. What does this mean as far as LSU is concerned? If you just look at that piece of it, was this like a 1-year, oh my goodness, we had the genius coach here, and we had the quarterback, and we caught lightning in a bottle, and is it going to go back to being Alabama's world again? Was this guy that important as he makes this jump to the NFL?
Well, look, I think that the Panthers made Joe Brady an offer that he couldn't refuse, because as we know, and as reported by Adam Schefter and others, you saw this where LSU had already agreed to a deal with Joe Brady, and they had doubled his salary. I mean, he was already making around $400,000. They doubled that. At least that's what the reports say. He wanted to stick around. I think LSU is in a scenario where they would certainly miss Joe Brady and what he brings to the table, but they do return one of their better offensive players, well, a lot of their receivers, and that's going to be a big part of it, and then also their better defensive player in Derek Stingley Jr., so they're going to be fine. We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.